It's hard to believe, but the idea of my new book, Havana Living Today, began with a cup of Cuban coffee. Because nothing says Havana like those tiny cups of strong black espresso. I was constantly surprised to see that this ritual of hospitality was so ingrained in Cubans that decades of scarcities could not take it away. I'm Hermes Mallea, Cuban-American architect and author.
Para mí, lo que hicieron ustedes aquí es genial.
And I've been traveling to Cuba since 2007, reporting on architecture and design.
It's really just spectacular.
During my visits, I kept encountering stylish houses brimming with personality.
So this is Michelle's bedroom, which I think is really just gorgeous.
And I came to understand that individual expression in the decoration of the home had not disappeared with the political upheavals as many believed. Havana Living Today is an incomparable tour of the city, taking the reader inside a world that tourists and most Cubans have never seen. A world that's almost hidden behind the poverty and battered facades of the socialist capital. I like the fact that there's different sizes. In Havana Living Today, I introduce the city's most stylish homeowners, a very small elite of diplomats, artists, musicians, collectors, expats, and members of the old guard. This unique set of individuals has produced interiors that you could only find in Cuba. And Havana Living Today celebrates their ingenuity in creating a distinctly Cuban style that seems to have been intensified by the decades of hardship and isolation.
I might ask you, though, to bring some light bulbs on your next
You know what?
trip.
You wouldn't be the first person. So.
Each home in the book reflects the owner's personality, like an album of their life experiences. The home of cultural impresario Pepe Horta illustrates the continuity of family life in the face of political disruptions.
We have an image that, most Cubans are living in homes that they acquired after the revolution, but in fact, your family has always been here.
Pepe was born in this house and lives here surrounded by the family furniture he's known all his life. Like many homeowners, he's revitalized the traditional setting with contemporary Cuban art, especially meaningful because of his personal connection to these artists. I feel the homes in Havana Living Today have kept alive a design culture that was interrupted by the 1959 revolution. Preservation architect Eileen Robainas lives in one of my favorite houses, a tropical modern gem that recalls the excellence of Havana's architects and furniture makers of the 1950s, whose designs reconciled international-style modernism with centuries of Cuban home-building traditions.
I just think the layout of this house with this covered terrace and this garden right here is really brilliant.
In Havana Living Today, we see what happens when people with great taste create their homes on an island where scarcity always makes getting things done difficult. For 17 years, Catarina Voss has been thoughtfully renovating the suburban Havana home her family rents from the state, coordinating builders and sourcing materials.
I had to find my own people. I had to find, I ran around for about a year to get the cement, to find the paint, and then store it somewhere, because whenever you find something, you have to buy it.
The book celebrates the indomitable spirit and resourcefulness of homeowners who have created beauty and comfort despite the many challenges. Homeowners like fashion designer Ismael de la Caridad are constantly scouring the island searching for things that meet their aesthetic standards. Recycling in Cuba is done by necessity, with artifacts and spaces often reused in non-traditional ways. He's taken a 19th century piece of furniture and he's installed it as a wall-hung unit. The house of artist Rachel Valdez Camejo proves that glamour did not disappear with the revolution.
Rachel's house is managed by the Palco state-run agency. And being in a property like this, which is totally unusual in Havana, gives us an idea of what life was like for the very elite on the eve of the revolution.
Rachel's living room sums up Havana style today, an identifiable aesthetic that is coupled with a sense of optimism for the future to provide a glimpse of Havana to come. As time passes, I'm convinced that the houses gathered in my book preserve the record of Havana on the brink of great change, just as Raul Castro is set to retire and the island attempts to open further to international visitors. While most places in the world have lost their aesthetic signature, Cuba is one of the few destinations where a distinct design identity is still alive and stands in defiance to globalized notions of good taste. Talented Cubans will continue to express themselves in the decoration of their Havana homes, relying on their legendary resourcefulness and their drive to create beauty where others see only challenges.